Hey, what's up guys? It's Limbo here. Today's video, we have another reaction video, and today we're going to be reacting to how Call of Duty Black Ops 7 failed before it even launched by Moz. And this is sent in by my viewer and my boy, Michael Baker. And before we get into the reaction, I just want to give you guys my little expose and take on this. And I feel like Black Ops 7 was literally doomed to fail. No matter how much PR work and advertising and spinning the narrative that they did before Black Ops 7 launched, it was doomed to fail, okay? I think Call of Duty in general, when it comes to social media content, it doesn't control the narrative, right? They never admit fault, and or the posts and apologies that they've done don't even sound like apologies or posts that really address major issues. And I also don't think that they are an ethically good company anymore, right? They are mainly posting and pumping out Call of Duty games for the money, for the cash. And obviously, when you're going into business, you do that because you're trying to be a successful business. But I think it gets to a point where not being ethically good, not being able to admit fault, not being able to even control the narrative or apologize or have your post sound correctly, like I think it gets to a point where like you have to start being nice again, right? And I also just think that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was doomed to fail because they just don't know who their audience is anymore and what we as an audience care about and don't care about. And I think those things and many other things outside of the game and inside the game have caused Call of Duty to fail. And today's video, we're going to be reacting to Maz's take on this. Is over 2 weeks ago, and I've seen one of his videos before, and it's usually good. So let's see what's happening, man.
The Call of Duty franchise has been slowly but surely diminishing in popularity with each year for the past 5 to 6 years. A franchise that was once considered as a pioneer of modern FPS games, a franchise that was seen as the one that was simply too big to fail, had become creatively bankrupt, and still every year a new game would come out and people would eat it up.
Yep.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was the biggest release of the franchise's history and went on to be the most sold game ever on the PlayStation 5. But there had to be a point where things would simply go tits up for the franchise.
Yep.
Warzone has been on a steady decline for years, and fans were already leaving Black Ops 6 only a few months into the game. Black Ops 6 was supposedly the biggest release Call of Duty has ever had, yet it was also the first game that saw a massive player drop in years for the franchise.
And you might be wondering, oh, how was Black Ops 6 so successful with the sales, with the player counts at the beginning of the game? How did they start losing players? The simple answer is Call of Duty Black Ops 6 sucked at providing post-launch content and really addressing massive issues with the gameplay, the content, the meta, bugs and glitches, all that kind of stuff. And it was just a perfect storm for Call of Duty to fail during the post-launch. And this time around with Black Ops 7, they haven't posted anything about Black Ops 7 being the most #1 sailed or played, downloaded, game for Call of Duty of all time, which is a good thing.
Things started to shift, and players started to leave. Not long after the release of Black Ops 6, the leaks for the next year's game started to appear, claiming that the next installment will be Black Ops 7.
Yep.
Just how fucking creative can you get, and how much can you squeeze out of a franchise that has nothing left to offer? Most players weren't excited about another Black Ops game. I mean, how many more could they make? How much can you squeeze out of a story that has been on live support ever since Black Ops 3, with the exemption that was Black Ops Cold War?
Yep.
Not only that, but people just weren't excited for a new Call of Duty game altogether. However, many reserved their judgment and wanted to see the game first before making a verdict. And with Battlefield 6 releasing this year, Call of Duty had some competition, and that competition was very much needed.
Yep.
However, the failure of Call of Duty Black Ops 7 came way before the announcement of the game itself. The Call of Duty franchise has for years been accused of losing its identity, for straying too far away from the roots of what made the franchise great in the
Look at those thumbnails that we just all saw there. I can't believe I just saw a Ninja Turtle, Nicki Minaj, and some stupid ass shit there. Right? And even on the screen right now, we have American Dad. I think a lot of people need to come to accept and realize that Call of Duty just isn't the same. Right? They don't know what we want as a community anymore. Which is why whatever I said in the beginning, from them not being able to apologize, they're not ethically good anymore, they don't even know who we are as an audience, what we want and don't want, that is all very true. And that's why Call of Duty is burning in player counts, burning in sales, and a drop of sales, right? It was confirmed that 50% sales, right? Sales were 50% down in the Europe for Black Ops 7 compared to Black Ops 6. And it was still the most downloaded and played game in Europe, but still, Call of Duty is just starting to have a more increased downfall every single year.
First place. Call of Duty games for years have been hard to recognise. In the past, the skins stayed true to the setting the game was based on. It was easy to tell which Call of Duty game you were playing just by simply looking at it.
Who your teammates were, what team you were on.
Games, you would probably think they all look like the same one, and you wouldn't be mistaken because, well, they do. Call of Duty was always a military shooter, and everything in the game reflected that. Even the smaller things like the voice lines you'd hear players use throughout a multiplayer game stayed true to the setting.
Frag out! Frag out! Frag out! Frag
Grenade!
out! Grenade! Grenade! Grenade!
Enemy AC 130 above!
Grenade! Look out! Grenade! Watch out! Grenade!
What the fuck?
Grenade! Get out of there! Enemy down! Enemy
Bobby!
down! He's down. One down. That's a kill. Target neutralized. Target neutralized. Tango down.
Got your six, twin. Going for some swag here. Gonna drop some fools over here. Get down and lay down. What it's gonna be? The fuck?
Get the
It was
fuck
about
out of here,
soldiers,
bro.
now it's about, I don't really fucking know, to be honest. It's about skins that look like shit, skins that sell. It's about bundles, it's about American Dad, about Beavis and Butthead, or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles running around the map shooting blue bullets out of a dragon skin weapon that then blows up people
What the
into
fuck's
confetti.
going on? I'm getting like
Over each year,
overstimulated.
they have gotten worse, they have gotten more expensive, and it seemed that with Black Ops 6, people finally had enough. They had enough of all of this bullshit, but they all
And compared to other games doing, you know, collaborations and bundles and skins, Fortnite, even though they have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, they have other rappers and artists, right, with their Icon series, they're not overcharging people, right? For the entire Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set for Fortnite, you could get all 4 ninjas, and I'm pretty sure you could also buy Abby, who's like the orange hair, redhead chick. You could buy all the turtles for $24 to $28. While in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, you would have to individually buy each turtle for like $20+, costing well over $80 to $100 just to own all 4 turtles, bro. Call of Duty is literally scamming their fans over these collabs.
also had enough of them focusing more on the bundles and the core issues the game itself
This
was
shit
suffering
just looks
from.
stupid too.
Not only that, but if you wanted better audio in the game, it would only cost you a small sum of $20 of your hard-earned money, because that's how bad the audio in the game is, that they were selling an add-on for it.
Yep.
Activision will find any way possible to
they're still
squeeze
doing it
every
for
last
BO7
penny
as
out
well.
of its consumers,
The base
whilst
beef
offering the same old game
Brother.
every year with little to no improvement. Call of Duty has become a franchise that simply doesn't respect its players.
Yes,
Cheating
exactly.
has gotten worse too.
They don't
Players have
know
simply
who
had enough.
we are, what
Ricochet
we
doesn't
want,
do
and what we
anything,
don't want.
And Engine owning
It's
basically
as simple
owns
as
Call
that.
of Duty at this point. There is
They
no
have
way in
lost
hell
the
that you
plot,
won't
they have
run into
lost
someone
us as
cheating
an
when you play
audience.
one of these games. And
And
of
that's not
course, the
wrong to
cherry
say,
on
man.
top, which has plagued every Call of Duty game since the Modern
Most
Warfare
companies
reboot
deal
in
like that, you know,
2019,
go through that
which is
phase.
SBMM. It only seems to have gotten worse and
Oh,
stricter
we got
with each
SBMM
game
talk now.
since. The culmination of all of these factors led to people abandoning Black Ops 6 and leaving players disinterested in the
Yep,
franchise.
that's
as a
why I
whole.
quit for the last
Then on the
3 to
8th of
4
June,
months of the game's
official
life
teaser
cycle,
trailer was
SBMM,
released for
and
Black
lack
Ops
of
7.
content.
It didn't show much, but it was clear it was more of a futuristic setting compared to Black Ops 6, which was already something players weren't exactly happy about. However, it was the reveal trailer on August 19th that proved to everyone that Black Ops 7 was just the same old game yet again.
Yep.
The trailer was quickly bombarded with dislikes, and in just 6 days was sitting at close to 400k dislikes on YouTube. The comment section was spammed with players saying that the trailer just made them pre-order Battlefield 6, and how the trailer was great promo for Battlefield 6 as well. The main reason people were saying that was because the trailer for Battlefield 6 had already been revealed along with gameplay, and players were excited for the game. Not only that, but a day before the Black Ops 7 trailer came out, the open beta for Battlefield 6 had just come to an end, breaking records on Steam and surpassing Call of Duty's highest player count. The game garnered a lot of interest from Call of Duty players. They liked the more grounded approach Battlefield 6 was taking, and the lack of SBMM, and how it was just a more casual experience. You even had the Battlefield community complaining at how many Call of Duty players were coming over to play the game, and how they feared they would ruin the game.
Which
The
is so
situation
funny,
was sort
dude.
of reminiscent of Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1 in a way. And if that wasn't enough, apparently 48% of Call of Duty players who played the beta did not go back to Call of Duty afterwards. That is a huge
That
amount.
is fucking huge.
The very little hype and
Jeez,
interest that
that's
Call of
massive,
Duty had
48%.
seemed like it was gone. On August 29th, Activision came out with a statement acknowledging that they have gone too far with the skins and bundles in the game, and promised to make skins in Black Ops 7 fit the identity of the Black Ops franchise.
But what about the content? What about the gameplay? Right? Like, I think they need to understand 10 years ago when everybody was complaining about supply drops and the exosuit movement, people legitimately hated it. So why have we gotten away from the boots on the ground shit and what we did with Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War to now adding a wall jump and extra mechanics, perks coming into play with the movement? This is ridiculous, dude.
This was a reaction to Battlefield 6 clearly gaining a lot of
They
interest
don't
from
know
Call of Duty
what
players
their
due
audience
to being a more
wants,
grounded
bro.
experience and the skins being more grounded too. But for many people,
It was
didn't
too
matter.
late. It was too late,
Activision had lost
honestly.
trust with a vast amount of its community, and a lot of people were simply done with them. On
Which is
October
why I said
5th,
earlier,
the
they
open beta
don't,
went live,
like their
and
apologies and posts
unsurprisingly,
don't
the
sound
game had gained
sincere or
little to
like
no traction,
themselves.
especially when
And
compared
you
to
can't
what
really trust their
Battlefield 6
apologies or posts because
The interest
there's
of
always
people
something
wasn't
going
there.
in the
The game
background,
was just
dude.
another Call of Duty game, the same game you played every year, just with different weapons and different maps and a fucking wall jump. Yep, because that's worth the $80 you have to pay.
Yep.
The player count hardly increased, the hype simply wasn't there. However, towards the end of the beta, Activision did something players had been asking for years. They gave players an option to play with SBMM off, or reduced SBMM, should I say.
Saves beta
This should
is
be massive for the
insane.
game
What a
and the franchise
tagline.
as a whole. Activision had previously, in 2024, released a 24-page fucking document about how SBMM is actually a good thing and how loosening it made more
And
people quit.
People need to
affected the retention
realize that test was hidden. So all the data, all of the shit that they spouted out during that white paper and that, you know, SBMM testing shit in that research paper was all hidden. I'm telling you, the results would have been different if players had known that there was no SBMM. Right? And now, thank God, at least for once, we actually have an open matchmaking playlist. But even now, they're spouting out bullshit about seeing an increased engagement while not providing evidence. So the only time they will show off stats, evidence, and player counts and increased engagement is in the benefit of them adding in and keeping in regular SBMM that we've been complaining about for the last 5 to 6 years. You guys understand what I mean when I say that whenever they make a post, a statement, or an apology, nobody trusts them at all anymore because they're never sincere. They never know, like, we never know if they're lying or not, dude. Simple as that.
base. Now, SBMM is a touchy subject. Some people prefer it, some people hate it. But to Activision,
It really depends on skill now, in my
should have been
opinion.
huge, and for some, maybe it was. But for the majority, they simply didn't care. That same company that released that 24-page document now gave players the option to play with SBMM off. However, it didn't do much in increasing hype or attracting more players to the beta.
Yep.
Why? Well, it's simple. No one believes them anymore.
Exactly,
With all the shady
bro.
shit they've done,
Exactly.
how they have treated the community, no one believes them anymore. Even when they say they turn SBMM
They
off,
just don't
people
admit
still
fault.
think that they never
I've been
truly
saying
did.
this, man.
They also removed disbanding lobbies, which was something players wanted too. Staying in the same lobby for multiple games playing with the same players was what many people loved in all the Call of Duties. It meant you could shit talk to the enemy that killed you several times and have a little back and forth banter.
Yep.
But again, this change didn't really matter. Also, at this point, Battlefield 6 was just a few days away from releasing, so regardless, people would be playing that. And they did, and those who did have likely not gone back to play Black Ops 7. So leading up to the release of the game, there honestly wasn't too much hype around the game, nowhere near what you would normally expect for a new COD game. Of course, you
Yeah,
had the
I mean,
typical
Call of
delusional
Duty's
fans
dead.
who actually
Simple
thought
as
this
that.
game was some sort of return to form for COD. But the majority of people simply were not interested, especially with Battlefield 6 out and Ark Raiders being a massive success.
Yeah, the fact that
no
this
one could have
competition has been the
predicted.
biggest
A lot of
difference.
people also now played
But
Call of
also
Duty
people are
through Game
tired.
Pass.
It's
It
the
was an
fatigue is
easy way
real.
to play the game and try it out, and for the longest time owning Game Pass, especially on PC, felt like a no-brainer. The price was massively accessible and the game catalogue was
Yep.
pretty good too.
$12 to
However, with the recent
$15.
price increase in Game Pass and now needing to
Oh,
own the
God.
Ultimate Edition to play new games on day one, there is no doubt that Call of Duty will suffer from this.
They
Game
did.
Pass is no longer one of the best deals in gaming. In fact, it's daylight robbery. If you pay for Game Pass at this point, you may as well bend over and let Phil Spencer fuck you dry. It's almost as if Xbox thought that increasing
Fucking
the
Phil
price
Spencer,
of Game Pass
bro.
before a COD release would somehow make more people buy Game Pass, which I'm sure just...
Call of Duty developers think the price increase is a good thing for Game Pass. Are we all seeing this correctly? You guys understand, like, why I shit talk or say the things that I say about these new developers at Call of Duty or the new people that are leading the helm at Activision or any of the 3 studios. They don't know who the fuck we are. This is why so many people shit talk the game, shit on it, and don't want to buy or play it. Because they don't know who we are as an audience anymore and what we want. And yes, it may be very diverse when we go on specific things like skill-based matchmaking, right? What makes a good meta, pick 10, or what we have right now. right? But at the same time, there is a lot of things that we can all agree on that makes a good Call of Duty that should not be reset every single year. Like quality of life updates, like being able to track your camos, right? Because that got reset in Modern Warfare 3 to Black Ops 6, and now from Black Ops 6 to BO7, right? Everybody agrees that Warzone should not be a part of the Call of Duty HQ application. People agree the fact that it should be its own thing like Fortnite. But they continue to do it, man. It's so stupid. It is so dumb.
Isn't the case. The game launched a few days ago, and it's safe to say it has been one of the most disappointing launches Call of Duty has had for a long time.
Yep.
Even Modern Warfare 3 had more excitement around it. None of my friends or people who I know who have always played COD have bought it this year. The Steam numbers haven't been great either. Since Call of Duty has been made available on Steam back in 2023, its release has seen around 200k players in the first month, or even more. Black Ops 7 in comparison has peaked at 100k, which I mean,
that's what 5 to 4 different games.
It is way below what they should be getting. Overall,
Call of Duty
the
HQ
reception
on
has been pretty terrible. A lot of people are calling it one of the worst COD games ever, especially when it comes to the campaign. The campaign has been slammed with negative reviews, and rightfully fucking so. How much can you squeeze out of the Black Ops story 7 games in?
We need something new.
Menendez is still alive, even though he is a hologram, but using him in all of the marketing material was clearly just nostalgia baiting, as he has no real impact on the story itself. And you can fight Merle Dixon from The Walking Dead if that's what you're looking for in a COD campaign. Or maybe it's, Frank Woods that has turned into a talking fucking plan. But in all seriousness, this is what Call of Duty campaigns used to be.
What the fuck? This is from, oh no, it's from Modern Warfare 2. Yep. This is so tough, bro. Like, this shit had me in a chokehold when I was 4 years old, dude. Played as so McTavish.
This is what they've turned into.
Oh my god, look at this shit. What are we even doing? Where's the pressure on this? He's not even attacking us. Like, that's just gonna hurt us?
Have interesting storylines, characters you cared about with great backstories, and campaigns that were worth your time. Now
when Soap McTavish died in Modern Warfare 3's campaign, in the OG one, when he's on the bed, right, and he says, Yuri knows the Makarov and dies, and I literally saw a girl cry over it on YouTube. I don't know how long ago that video was, but I literally saw people cry and complain about Soap dying in the last Modern Warfare game, bro. And now nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about the campaigns.
Can't even pause the campaign because they've turned it into an online mess.
Yep, that's stupid as well.
Constant connection to the internet. You can't pause the game, and the game has no checkpoints. If you disconnect or simply quit halfway through a mission, when you come back to play it again, you will have to start right from the beginning.
What the fuck?
Co-op should be an additional option to those who wanted to try it, but the game is quite literally forcing you to
What are we doing here, man?
This campaign feels more like Spec Ops. First of all, there is
I'm so glad I didn't waste my time playing this shit.
Remember when you could choose how you wanted to experience the campaign? Well, not anymore. Now the game gives you no option and gives you just a standard difficulty that you play through. Also, why are armor plates a thing in the campaign now? Like, why does this look and feel like you're playing Warzone? There's so many things wrong with the campaign alone that it makes the Black Ops 3 campaign look like a masterpiece in comparison.
And BO3's campaign was horrible.
Bars. Most of the missions consist of just fighting off enemy waves, and it turns the gameplay into absolute brain rot.
It looks like brain rot.
Because, like I said, the game requires you to have an online connection.
You can get banned from campaign, by the way. I've seen in the shadow ban, you can actually get banned from the campaign.
I mean, the very first thing I thought of when I played the boss fight against Harp is that it looked so similar to Destiny 2 bosses. Mainly due to the size, because the difficulty of these bosses was downright terrible. I understand that they are maybe trying to do new things, maybe even innovate, but if you're going to implement these type of boss fights, they need to be engaging, they need to be challenging, and the bosses themselves need to be interesting.
Yes, we need to have a reason to care about these bosses like Harper.
The only real attack you have to watch out for doesn't exactly make for an interesting encounter. It is one thing, and that is memorable, but unfortunately, it's memorable
fucking trash
not for the right reasons.
Exactly.
The best way to describe this game is with one word: soulless. It lacks any sort of identity already. It has yet again forgotten what Call of Duty was once about. The whole thing feels like it was just slapped together with a sprinkle of nostalgia to hook people in and try to sell as many copies as they can through that. And the recent controversy surrounding the use of AI in the game when it comes to the art used in calling cards and other areas proves this exact point. Using AI in an $80 game is just straight up wrong and lazy, but most importantly, just straight up fucking greedy. This wasn't disclosed before launch either, and it's led to many people refunding the game. It's clear to see that Call of Duty games are now being made with minimum effort being put in. AI generated content, reused assets can be seen everywhere, and the constant remasters of older COD maps. They either don't care or simply believe that this game really is too big to fail. And even though the multiplayer and zombies experience isn't terrible, it's just more of the same. And there simply isn't any reason to be playing COD over any other reason to be playing COD over any other games that are currently out there.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Call of Duty should disappear for a year or two and leave the annual releases behind. Create a game every 2 or even 3 years that introduces actual changes with great stories, characters, a multiplayer experience that actually feels like it's evolved rather than being the same for years on end. And maybe then they can try and find their identity again. There is no doubt that Call of Duty has evolved, but it's just not evolved in the right direction. The game is a great example of everything that is wrong with modern AAA gaming, and for a franchise that was once regarded as the godfather of multiplayer shooters, to fall to the level it finds itself today,
and it monopolized the genre as well,
but also quite upsetting, because they simply don't care. The people that made those great games don't even know what Call of Duty is about anymore, and Black Ops 7 only shines light on that problem even more. What are your thoughts on Black Ops 7? Is it a game that you will eventually try out? Or maybe you're just not interested at all with it and you're just done with the COD franchise? Because I know a lot of people are. But let me know your thoughts about this game in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
And to head off there, I'm going to go on a little tangent here, and I don't want to make this video too long, but all in all, I think Call of Duty needs to let the devs cook up. They need to create a new IP, a new theme, a new gameplay mechanic, something that's innovative in the right way that we Call of Duty fans have been wanting for the longest time. And I just think they need to stop going back to this back-to-back series cycle, right? And they just need to give it like a year-long break so that, you know, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward could all cook up on their games, dude. And I really, truly believe that Call of Duty is going to fail even harder with Modern Warfare 4, especially if Activision doesn't allow the devs to have full control over skill-based matchmaking for their own games. Because still to this very day, Activision has the final say on how skill-based matchmaking is implemented, works, how strict it is, and how bad it is within a Call of Duty game for a studio, you know, production that they didn't even do. So, yeah, but another great video from Moz. Make sure you guys drop a like and hit that subscribe button. Please let me know in the comments below what you guys think of my reaction and what Moz said. But, yeah, man, you guys should check out the original video down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.